but not that we are against any political party.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the Inter-Religious Council. Like we said, everyone in this room has a role to play when it comes to ensuring that we do have a peaceful 2026 general election. And from the religious standpoint, would like to know, Mufti, what is the role of religion or the faith when it comes to the 2026 general elections?
As I remarked earlier on, I came to represent His Eminence the Mufti. Though I'm an executive board member of the Inter-Religious Council, but I was not mandated to speak on their behalf today. But I would like to draw your attention to the press release that the Inter-Religious Council made on the 24th of November 2025. Actually, it is still afresh because it addressed many of the important issues that are ongoing in the elections. But as a religious leader, we regard ourselves as stakeholders who are entrusted with moral responsibility to watch over our nation and to guide it during moments of uncertainty like these ones. Indeed, we acknowledge a few things that we have worked with the communities and we have listened to their fears and we prayed for their hopes. Equally, we are playing a role of connecting the communities with the people in authority, the Electoral Commission, the police, the security, and so on and so forth. And we thank that we accepted before all the community to spearhead a peaceful process, if supported by all. As you remember, from the previous included the presidential candidates debate, which actually was the first of its kind in Africa, where you saw all the candidates shaking hands and even hugging. So we may not have one this time because we have not been enabled and supported to do so, but we are equally issuing pastoral letters to enable our religious leaders to play their role in guiding the masses to behave faithfully and to avoid provocations and to stick to the rule of law.
Cycle. And I'd like to just reference to the recent incidences.
Released the roadmap that we are all following for the 2025-26 general elections in 2023 and revised it in 2024 and began the process of all the activities that we have undertaken, from demarcation of electoral areas to organization of polling stations to the update of the National Voters Register to the nominations. One would almost imagine that there is nothing happening because there was no incident. Generally, people were peacefully following the guidelines of the Commission on what needed to be done. And then the campaigns started on the 29th of September.
Peacefully also.
Peacefully. To the extent that the first 5, 6, 7 weeks, people began to wonder whether we were in the same country or whether something fundamental had happened, with some saying that the process was boring, that there was no vibe, and that they couldn't believe it. And everybody was applauding this, that this is what we want to see, because that is how electoral processes should be. electoral processes are civil processes provided for in all our laws as processes through which people will choose their leaders. And the framers of the 1995 Constitution were aware of the history. When you look at the preamble, that we have had a history that's characterized by all those kind of things, and that now we resolve that we have to be a constitutional country that follows the laws in choosing our leaders. Let us say this, that the incidents that we've seen in a few of the places that have captured the headlines are very unfortunate, they are regrettable, and they were and are avoidable. But to avoid them requires every actor, as has been said, to follow the law. Our Constitution and our laws say no one is above the law, including law enforcement.
But the candidates claim that they are operating within the law.
That is a subject that has to be, but we have begun to see some candidates across the board not following those guidelines. And that is the real issue. That is the real issue. Failure to follow the laws, failure to follow the guidelines, and refusal to follow the guidelines. And it is incumbent upon all the actors in the electoral process. The candidates have a duty. The candidates who want to be leaders at all levels have a duty to be leaders by telling their supporters to follow the law. It starts with the leaders, and what describes or paints the image of what is happening across the world. And we believe strongly that we can even address the root causes of the incidents that we've seen and we are seeing. It is important that we address, not only address the wound, but we address the fundamental root causes of why are we seeing clashes? Why are we seeing supporters of different candidates and political parties clashing amongst themselves, even without police being involved? Yesterday, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission